Hello everyone, let's discuss the very most important concept of electrical machines, that is Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So basically we have to discuss two laws. These are nothing but Faraday's first law and Faraday's second law. Electromagnetic induction. So first one, Faraday's first law and Faraday's second law. Then what is Faraday's first law gives? So which has given the information regarding how the EMF will be induced. Explains how the EMF is induced. Then Faraday's second law give Faraday's second law. It will provide the information regarding the magnitude of induced EMF. Provides magnitude of induced EMF. So basically we have two laws, Faraday's first law and second law. So from the first law we have to get how the EMF will be induced. We have to get the information regarding how the EMF will be induced from a machine. So like that, Faraday's second law gives the information regarding what is the magnitude of that induced EMF. So basically we have two types of induced EMFs. Types of induced EMFs. First one, dynamically induced EMF, and second one is statically induced EMF. So these are the two types of induced EMFs. Those are nothing but dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF. So in order to get these two types of EMFs, first we have to get the requirements. So what are the requirements for the production of dynamically induced EMF as well as statically induced EMF? So let us consider the case. This is dynamically induced EMF. Let us consider the case of 1. It is statically induced EMF. For this we have to consider another case, that is case 2. So in order to get the EMF, how the EMF will be induced, we have to first get the requirements to get the EMF. Requirements to get the EMF. So the basic requirements for the EMF generation or First one is set of conductors and second one is magnetic field. These two are main requirements for the production of induced EMF. Whether it is dynamically induced EMF or statically induced EMF, these two are the major requirements for the production of induced EMF. In addition with that, we have to provide the relative space variation or relative time variation. Between these two we have to provide that. And third one, relative space variation or relative time variation between 1 and 2. So what are the basic requirements? First one is set of conductors that we have to get. First requirement is set of conductors and magnetic field. So in order to get dynamically or statically induced EMF, we have to provide relative space variation between set of conductors and magnetic field or relative time variation between set of conductors and magnetic field between 1 and 2. So these are the basic requirements. Now I would like to discuss case 1. Later we will discuss case 2. Case 1. Before that, first we have to now we have to write the statement of Faraday's first law. Faraday's first law. How the EMF will be induced, that is explained by Faraday's first law. What is the statement? Whenever if there is any relative space variation or relative time variation between set of conductors and magnetic field. Obviously there is a induced EMF. So this is the statement of Faraday's first law. So what are the basic requirements to get the induced EMF? Set of conductors and the magnetic field. Between those two we have to provide what? Space variation or relative time variation. Then only we have to get the EMF. So the EMF may be dynamically induced EMF or statically induced EMF. So depends upon the orientation of conductors and time varying field of with respect to time varying field, we have to get either dynamically induced EMF or statically induced EMF. So now I would like to discuss case 1. Case 1. What is the case 1? First one, generate EMF using relative space variation. So space variation, generate EMF using relative space variation concept. Okay, for this, what is observation? So in this, the conductors should be moved inside the steady magnetic field to generate EMF. So we have to provide the space between set of conductors and the magnetic field, that is you can say displacement between conductors and magnetic field. Therefore, what about magnetic field and set of conductors? So let us say magnetic field and set of conductors. Now tell me which one is moving part, which one is steady part. So we have to get the EMF by providing space between magnetic field and set of conductors. So obviously magnetic field is steady magnetic field, steady, or you can say time invariant field. But coming to set of conductors, the conductor should be rotate, being moved. So in the case 1, we have to get the EMF by providing relative space variation between magnetic field and set of conductors. Obviously you are going to get the EMF. So in this case, the magnetic field is steady state condition, that is there is no time varying nature of magnetic field, that is steady magnetic field between two poles. But coming to conductor, it is changed. So for simple, from this diagram you can have clear observation. This is one pole, this is another pole, right? So between these two poles, obviously we are going to get the magnetic field. This is the magnetic field. So this is the rotating part, this is the rotating part, this is the rotor. Let us say this is stator, this is rotor. So between these two poles we are going to get the steady magnetic field, but by the orientation of this rotor, obviously we are going to get the different EMF. Okay, so now I would like to explain. Let us say this is north pole, this is south pole. So between north and south poles there is a magnetic field, right? There is a magnetic field. Let us consider a conductor. So this is the placement of conductor, right? So at this position, the placement of conductor is present exactly. So what is the displacement? This is being moved, this is moved, right? This is steady. Magnetic field lines are steady, being moved. So we have steady magnetic field and the conductor is being moved. Obviously what will happen? For different instants we are going to get the different EMF. So at this position one EMF we are going to get like that. Let us say north and south poles. Let us say the placement of conductor is, now it is like this, right? So let us say this is the angle theta. Now the angle is what? This is angle. So now the placement is changes, right? For different values of for different rotations we are going to get the different EMF. So this is nothing but one type of EMF. So when the magnetic field is steady and the set of conductors being moved, so in this case the EMF will be induced is dynamically induced EMF. Dynamically induced EMF. We will discuss what is dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF in detail. This is only basic introduction part of electromagnetic induction. What is the definition and what are the types of induced EMFs? So in this case one, when the field is stationary and the set of conductors being moved, in that case the EMF induced is nothing but dynamically induced EMF. So coming to second case, case 2. What is case 2? Generate EMF using relative time variation. Relative time variation. So we have to get the EMF by providing relative time variation. In the first case we have to provide the relative space displacement between set of conductors and magnetic field, but in this case we have to provide the relative time variation, means the one of the quantity, whether it is magnetic field or conductor, being moved with respect to time variation. That is the meaning. So what is the meaning here? In this magnetic field must be time varying and set of conductors kept stationary. So that is the meaning. So in the first case conductor is rotating, field is steady field, but in the case of time variation magnetic field is time varying in nature but conductor is kept stationary. So let us say magnetic field and set of conductors. So coming to magnetic field, time varying magnetic field. So coming to set of conductors, kept stationary. So the example for this type of EMF induced is statically induced EMF. So we have two types of EMFs, that is dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF. So in order to get dynamically induced EMF, we have to get magnetic field and set of conductors. So the magnetic field is steady and set of conductors being moved to get dynamically induced EMF. But coming to statically induced EMF, magnetic field is time varying in nature but coming to set of conductors kept stationary. In that case the EMF induced is nothing but statically induced EMF. Time varying magnetic field in the sense we have to provide AC supply, then only we are going to get the time varying magnetic field. Now let's discuss what are the examples of dynamically and statically induced EMFs. So in the next class we will discuss what is dynamically induced EMF and what is the magnitude of that EMF. Later, what is statically induced EMF and what is the magnitude of statically induced EMF in detail. This is only the definition of Faraday's first law and types of induced EMFs. So examples for that. So for dynamically induced EMF, what are the examples? DC generator. DC generator. So in case of DC generator, so what is dynamically induced EMF? Conductor is being moved but field is stationary, right? So flux is steady and conductors are always rotating. So flux is steady is nothing but what? It is nothing but field. Field is stationary, but coming to conductors are always rotating, nothing but armature. So in case of DC generator, armature is rotating, field is stationary, right? This is the example for dynamically induced EMF. Like that, alternator, that is synchronous generator. Under dynamically induced EMF, alternator, that is synchronous generator under no load condition. Under no load condition only, the EMF induced in synchronous generator is nothing but dynamically induced EMF. So what is the reason? Under no load, there will be no stator current and it is operating with DC excitation. Flux is rotating with synchronous speed, but stator conductors are stationary. Flux is rotating with ns speed, but stator conductors are stationary. So there is relative space variation between flux and stator conductors. So then so what are the examples of dynamically induced EMF? DC generator and alternator under no load condition, right? So under no load, there will be no stator current and it is operating with DC excitation. So flux is rotating with ns speed, that is synchronous speed, but stator conductors are stationary. So at any case, there will be a relative space variation between flux and stator currents. That is enough for the production of dynamically induced EMF. But coming to synchronous generator under load condition, that is the different case. Only under no load condition only the EMF induced in synchronous generator is dynamically induced EMF. Note this point. Then coming to statically induced EMF, example for statically induced EMF. First one is transformer. So the EMF induced in transformer is purely statically induced EMF. So what is why it is statically induced EMF? In case of transformer, magnetic field is nothing but flux, right? That is time varying in nature. Conductor is nothing but what? Stationary. That's why it is called as static machine. Right? Time varying nature. That is simple. When there is a supply voltage, there is a current. When there is a current, there is a flux development. Because of the flux, there is a EMF induced in the primary wire. Right? So this is nothing but time varying in nature. This is nothing but time varying in nature. So that is the example for statically induced EMF. So common examples. What are the machines? In that machines, dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF, which are developed. Examples of machine have induced EMF both statically and dynamically induced EMFs. That is induction machine and alternator. That is nothing but synchronous generator under load condition. We are having both statically and dynamically induced EMF. So what is the reason? There is dynamically induced EMF due to rotor flux and statically induced EMF due to what? Stator flux. That is the reason, right? So in case of induction machine and alternator under load condition, we have both dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF. When we are going to get dynamically induced EMF, rotor flux is rotating and stator is stationary. In that case, we are going to get dynamically induced EMF, right? But coming to statically induced EMF, we are going to get the EMF due to what? Stator flux. Stator flux is nothing but time varying in nature. That is the reason we have to get the statically induced EMF. So these are the types of induced EMF. So what is Faraday's first law? Whenever there is a relative space variation or time variation between set of conductors and magnetic field, there is a EMF induced. So types of EMFs are nothing but dynamically induced EMF and statically induced EMF. So this is Faraday's first law, and Faraday's second law gives the information regarding the magnitude of induced EMF. So tomorrow we will discuss dynamically induced EMF in detail. Thank you.